Hello everyone and welcome to the harnessracing.com preview show coming to you live from the Red Mile in Lexington, Kentucky. It's a beautiful day here. I'm your host, Wendy Ross, joined by two of the brightest and well-known faces in all of harness racing, Bob Hollywood Hayden and Emily Gaskin. Guys, so nice to be with you today. What a great day of racing we have in store.
Oh, I am thrilled to be here. You kidding me? This is the greatest. And, you know, it's my fourth straight year here. I can't even imagine ordering up a better weather scenario than we've had in this past 8 days. Let's keep our fingers crossed for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Bob. It's just like we drew it up. And much like this broadcast, it's a beautiful day in Lexington, and I'm thrilled to be joined alongside both of you. Always a pleasure, and you know there's going to be some great racing action when we call in the big shots like Hollywood Hayden.
Well, there definitely is, and Emily, we were always just so glad to have you. We know you're so busy, and to have Holly, we threw him in as a bonus to the show today, so you're going to be with us for about half the show. Is that going to be enough time?
No, as Wendy, as Emily does, no way. She's got everybody like needing something. I'm a little more of a lone tiger.
Well, it's funny because we were, blocking out the segments for the show. Once we threw Holly on, Emily, Kyle Credit, and the team said, we're going to give you guys a half an hour. Because they knew what to expect, right?
I'm going to need that.
Yeah, you're definitely going to need that.
Can we make it, 45 minutes wouldn't ruin my day either. So.
Guys, we're celebrating 150 years of excellence and tradition here at the Red Mile. That's something.
And 150 years is the same year the Derby started, Kentucky Derby, right? 1875, Aristides won it. And when the first race went here, it was a 4-race card, 1875. And then 18 years later, we hop over to the Kentucky Futurity. 33 years later, the Hambletonian. And then 29 years later, the Yonkers Trot. That's the trotting Triple Crown. So there's a big gap between those three things. And here's one of my favorite stats of the day. The Kentucky Futurity's gone forever, right? There's been 71 drivers who've won the Kentucky Futurity. 71 is more than the entire amount of editions of the Yonkers Trot. So it gives you an idea how long it's been around.
It's been around for a long time, and it just seems like the excellence and the way the breed is progressing, so much great history. But I think we're going to see some history made, and we've seen it made the last couple days. We've had a great couple days of racing leading into today, highlighted by a few world records led by the Burke Brigade's homebreds, Lua Dipa and Al Poppy.
Yeah, we haven't, it's been no shortage of excitement, Wendy, and, as you talk about the history that surrounds a day like the Kentucky Futurity, the excitement is palpable. You can feel the anticipation as we've been talking about the history. When you're able to marriage to make the gap between history and then to have the horses show up and produce miles that we've already seen thus far this season, like you said, it really makes things exciting, and you can really feel the excitement and the energy in the air.
And talking about feeling the excitement, now you see the horses and you probably hear them going by us. We're right here past, right across almost from the winner's circle. The team has moved us up this year. We were back in the back last year, Emily. But wow, we are seeing people coming in. The people are starting to really come in, and quite, it's getting crowded. But the horses on the back watching them warm up, it's something.
Yeah, last year wasn't as conducive, I don't think, to world records, but we did have a stakes record, 50-1 in the Philly Futurity from R. Molina. We did have a stakes record in the Tattersalls, right, when we had a 146-3 from Mirage Hanover over Better Be Nice. That was a Bettor's Delight exacta right there, and near the end of his siren career. But the history, though, smacks you right in the face when you walk in here of the Kentucky Futurity. Everywhere you look, Scott Frost, the very first year that there was a Yonkers Trot, and we had for Triple Crown, he won it back here in 55. Napolitano here, kind of on the Heartbreak Alley back in 1987 for Mac Lobel when he went by him to deny him the Triple Crown. And 1984, one of my favorites, because Fancy Crown was named Horse of the Year. She won the Kentucky Futurity, but there was a 15-minute inquiry. I'm not positive if she gets taken down. She is named Horse of the Year because that was the year of Annihilator and On the Road again, too. So Bill O'Donnell survived that one. Their Peace Corps in 89 won the richest and set the record. And Super Bowl, does it get any better than 1972 winning the the Futurity right here, 2 heats, world record, 57-2, 56-2. Oh, he had a flat tire in each leg, final and the first heat. And Songcan's the one who did it to him both times. Still set a world record.
And I think the coolest thing, Emily, and I'm sure you'll agree when we talk about these stats, yes, we're going back quite a few years, right? Before Emily and I were born,
I was just going to say,
Holly, that's okay.
I was just going to say,
you weren't born yet?
I'm 72 or 82.
Hold on, shots fired by Hollywood Hayden here. No, I was going to say, I hope you're holding on to, I'm going to take that little stats page and hand it to Ernie Gaskin. There's a lot of Ernie Gaskin names I'm hearing there, Napolitano, Peace Corps, and the likes.
Yes.
So, yeah, we're going back there. Like you said, no, I was not born, but my dad was, and I've heard a lot of those great stories.
And the cool thing thing is, all of these trotters talking about them, that breeding is trickled down.
That's right.
Going back down, I guarantee, Holly, you would know this, to the horses, even to the track here today between the mares, still those bloodlines run that deep to be touching some of the horses racing here today.
Well, you think the tie-in here, I mean, Stars Pride won it here, right? 75 years ago, 1950, and he's basically the father of the Triple Crown. He had 4 straight Triple Crown winners. He signed more Triple Crown race winners than anybody else. And one of my favorites is 1946 when Victory Song won the Futurity. But the Horse of the Year didn't start until 47. Oh, he didn't care. As a 4-year-old, he was named Horse of the Year, too. When Neverly Pride crossed the wire in 1968 to wrap up the Triple Crown, you know who was born 45 days later? Aki Svanstedt.
Oh, wow.
The only driver trainer on the card today. The only guy, not only the oldest driver too, but the only guy. You got to love coming to the Red Mile, driving and training against this level of driver as the only one on the card. And look what this man's done last 5 or 6 years.
And to think about the dates, how they line up, it's really something.
A note there, though, I will say, Svanstedt Stable, the amount of horsepower that they bring to an event like this, but I will say they've been a little quiet for the Grand Circuit meet at the Red Mile. They've had some horses step up and race good, but they were on a bit of a tear there, with the Hamiltonian and the likes. It seems like the barn was really firing, and for whatever reason, they've been a little quiet here at the Grand Circuit meet. So that's not to say we're not going to hear big things from their stable today.
I was just going to say, Emily, those type how they
right.
They have those horses ready just in the right spot. Nothing to say they couldn't have a couple winners here today. Usually how history is shaken out.
And I don't want to leave any bullets in the gun, all right? So let's go.
Absolutely
Let's
not.
go back
We
2014 for a second when Jimmy Takter had the Triple Crown with 2 horses. That's right. Nunzio wins 2 legs, right? And Trixon wins the Hamiltonian. But Nunzio won here and won the Yonkers Trot. And maybe the best note of all is probably the most unusual one. 2 horses in 3 years, from 65 and 67, won the Philly Futurity and the regular Futurity. They won both. That's right. Speed Model did it in 67, On-Bro Flight in 65. In those days, it wasn't that unusual to race in both. Then, of course, the Kentucky Philly Futurity started. And we haven't seen a filly win the Futurity in 34 years since Whiteland Janice did it. Then there's no real need to race. They're racing for $300,000. The boys are going for $500,000. It's the disparity's not that much. So there's a big money going for the girls too.
Guys, just to take a pause from Futurity talk for just a minute,
Sure.
we have so many great races on the card, highlighted by the match race. It's a 3-horse race, but it's shaping up to be, with U.S. Trotting, we've shaped it up as kind of a match race between the 2 rivals, Twin Bee, Joe Fresh, and Sylvia Hanover. 2 mares are going to race today. Well, there's 3 in the race, let's be clear, but these 2 mares are going to battle it out. Over $5 million made between just these 2 mares. Super.
There really wasn't, anything that I was, maybe more excited for was the, like you said, possibility of a match race between these 2 great mares. And yes, take nothing away from Yankee Be Something. She's a nice mare in her own regard, but nothing screams Grand Circuit like a match race. And so, although there are 3 horses in it, we're going to still pose it as a match race because we're going to get to watch 2 incredibly talented filly or mares rather square off, and like you said, take nothing away from Yankee Be Something, but this is a rivalry that we have been watching year in and year out.
And Bob, to talk about talent, let's talk about Emily. You know, last year we caught up with her. She was taking on some new roles, but she's taking on a big role here at the Red Mile. So many great events, so many great things you guys have been doing. Emily, hats off to you.
Yes, and first order of business was getting Mr. Hayden back and the USTA as well. We appreciate the support. Like I said, a lot of excitement, a lot of great things, but there's a lot of great people that help make the Grand Circuit grand.
Breeders' Crown in 2027. The announcement is out. Very excited for that.
41 years ago today, first Breeders' Crown race held right here. Workaholic won the first Breeders' Crown trio race. By the way, the Gaskin family tradition is you roll up your sleeves.
Yep.
You don't look at the clock, okay? Look at Ernie, look at Darla, look at Amanda. I don't know what anybody's surprised about. They do that. They multitask. Ernie set a really good example. I mean, when you're running the Billy Houghton stable, are you kidding me? Greenspeed and all those guys and Keystone Pioneer for years and years. Oh, my God, you have to really be on your game. Billy Houghton knows every horse, every piece of equipment, and it means Ernie's got to also. By the way, in February of '84, when Annihilator was just 2 months into his 2-year-old year, Ernie's in the magazine telling us that's the horse to watch.
Wow.
That's the special horse. 5 months before you step on the track. I like that.
Indiana Hall of Fame, and we know Emily's following right in her dad's footsteps. That's for sure.
Yes. And by the way, back to the mare race for a second. Someone please tell me why these 2 mares would not be going for the world record today, okay? If they're not here for the purse, $64,000, don't worry about the other horse in the race. That's not their concern. 98 starts between the two, so it'll be 100 starts combined between these two. They both won the Guernsey 2 years ago. Sylvia's a track record holder right now. The Twin Beat Joe Fresh is the horse of the year. The conditions are perfect. They may never race at the Red Mile again. We don't know if they're racing past 5. Everything in the world says to me, they're going out there, it's going to be a dual time trial. And the reason I say that, probably more than anything else, is because of Alley Rag Hanover and Bulldog back in 2022. Because Bulldog was going for it, and Alley Rag won because Bulldog was going for it. I think they're both going for it today.
I think I was one of a few broken hearts that day. I was very sad to see Bulldog beat that day. But
Yes.
I think you're right, and I think we're going to see a great race. So race 3, make sure you don't want to miss out. Guys, let's get back to the Futurity. Of course, the draws were held on Wednesday. 11 fillies and 11 colts will go forward in the Futurities today. The favorites for the fillies are Delaney Hanover, What a Bid Hanover, and Deja Blue. What do you guys think about this race? Do you think it's going to be a favorites race to win, or do you think we're going to see some long shots come in here?
Well, you know, I appreciate this year's group of fillies. I think they've been a rather complex group. Well, we've seen a little bit of everything from this particular group, and I think that's what maybe makes it exciting, right? In years past, it's often as you said, to have a heavy favorite or have a headliner, if you will. But I think this year's group is pretty well balanced. They've all seemed to, have their ups and downs, and parts of the season where they've really shined. Again, as you talk about a race like this is one that everyone points to, and you want to have your filly firing on all cylinders, and I think that's what we have. You can make a case for a number one of these fillies, any number of these fillies in this race, because I think they're all pointing for this particular spot.
And we take a look at a few fillies. We're going to feature, with time consideration, we're only going to feature a couple here, but we take a look at a few fillies. And the first start, we're going to look at Delaney Hanover. This is the one for me here today. Lucas, I think, has her sharp right at the right time, guys.
Coming in off a strong lifetime mark 50-2 for the luckiest man in the entire sport, Andy Steinberg, one of the ownership. Not favored once this year. She could be at post time. It might be the favorite. Scotty Zeron has 9 Triple Crown wins before age 35. Only other person who can say that is John Campbell. And how about owner John Wiseman? He's in both finals today.
Yeah, incredible. I actually just ran into Wiseman, and he said he was going to the airport. I said, not to leave. I don't know if there's a guy that should be any more excited about heading in today than John Wiseman, but no, he's going to pick up his recruits, pick up the family, and show full support for these two champs going to post.
Saw Lucas. I know we didn't get to chat with him at the draw, guys, but saw him afterwards. He was very, very happy. I think he knows how good his filly is going to be coming into
and peaking
today.
at the right time.
That's
Yes,
right.
she
That's
is.
exactly
Good idea there.
Next is Deja Blue, the well-bred, the royally bred filly. Post 5 comes in off the 2 seconds for the recent barn change of Ron Burke.
Well, if you won Atlanta and Mission Brief in the same race, this is as close as you'll get as broodmares, right? A homebred on the doorstep of $250,000. Muscle Hill's got 4 in here. Now, she trotted her fastest mile of her life in her last, even though she didn't win, by history's 4th leading money-winning driver of all time, Yannick Gingras.
Yeah, as you said, coming into this race and talk about pedigree and royalty, and that's exactly what you have here. I think it's interesting because, in her last start, I thought she really, really took a step forward. She did finish second. I think it was just Kadena was better on that day, got up the rail, had things a little more her direction. So I think that's maybe what's most interesting about Deja Blue is that she's been in every single dance. Maybe hasn't had that giant mile that we've all raved about, but she's been in every dance, and I thought she's made a good account of herself. And as I said, last out, I thought she really took another step forward and showed another dimension to her game.
And she's going to be one of those fillies. She doesn't like to leave right out of there, be on the front. She likes to kind of leave out of there, gets the cushion trip right, and we know how this race can shake out. It can be, if it gets weak on the front, when they turn to the head of the stretch, it's going to shake out, and it might open up for a filly like her to finally show us that stretch those legs out today.
And Yannick, the rare driver who drove both Atlanta and Mission Brief, right? Mission Brief, track record, world record set right here, and of course Atlanta also. So Yannick certainly has an interest in the outcome of the race in the breeding department too.
Last one to feature is Our Duchess. Post 9 will not be ideal for her, guys. She comes in off from the Elegant Image there, had some got run into and then ran into. It wasn't great. Caught up with trainer John Butensheen though. He said she was really great up there. Just unfortunate circumstances. Said she trained really good. He thinks she's really sharp coming in today, even from post 9.
Yeah, and I spoke to Butensheen earlier prior to the Grand Circuit meet, and this is when he was just heartbroken about the Hambletonian Oaks Limb. She just was not her best. She was sick, had some issues, and again, as you talk about pointing these fillies for particular spots, I know he was really excited to race Our Duchess in the Hambletonian Oaks, but it just wasn't to be, and wasn't to be her day. So she had some issues there, had some sickness. They got her back, and as you said, an unfortunate loss. She's really really just been plagued with some bad luck. But I know Bootenchain is very confident in his filly.
And looking back last year, if we're looking, remember she did win here, that 52-1 mark that she took here as a 3-time winner last year in 12 starts. So we know she's capable.
Yeah, John Bootenchain's trying to win this race back-to-back. Tough
That's
to
right.
do. Our Duchess favored last 5, odds on last 4. Sire Father Patrick went back-to-back in the Futurity in 19 and 20 with Green Shoe and Amigo Vola. Now, in that DQ, Elegant Image, obviously looking to make amends here. Owners M&L from Delaware, let's just say they paid their dues, and she's only one of 2 in this field who has not raced here so far this year.
Guys, let's keep rolling along here. We look at taking a look at the colts now. I think we're seeing some of the best of the 3-year-old trotting colts all here. So we're going to see a race here on this afternoon, led by Melander's Super Chapter, and I think Luke Blaze, Emoticon Legacy, they draw post 4 and 10 here. But like I said, this group is super deep. But it's another one. Can we see the upset of one of the colts that kind of jumps up today, has its best day, or are we going to see it go to the favorites?
Yeah, I think, again, just a dynamic group that we've seen every year. It seems like, there's a little bit different storyline. And I think this year, no different. We have a great group set to go postward. I think there's a lot of different storylines, a lot of different ups and downs. I think maybe the thing I was most excited about was Hollywood Hayden after setting the morning line, just kind of hearing his opinions and how he was pretty high on a few of these. I know Emoticon Legacy is right up there on the top of your list as well, Bob.
The only thing Post 10 does from Emoticon Legacy is help my price. I suggest people follow me. If they see me, they follow me to the windows earlier. I'm going to bet that race earlier, so I'm going to try to disguise in case you try to follow me later.
Guys, here's the replay. The team has told me this is the replay of Super Chapter from last week. So we're going to take a look at him, and like we said, comes in off that second place effort for here last week. Here's a look at the replay. Okay, this is it.
Well, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it nonetheless.
That's okay. That's all right. But here we go, looking at Super Chapter, draws post forward here. Like I said, comes in off that second place effort here last week.
Now, Dex already won this race, right, with Amigo Volo 5 years ago. Now, Jeffrey Snyder's on the ownership part. He's got brand names on the pacing side in his career, $9 million wins, and he owned both Camp's Card Shark and Rock and Roll Hanover. The leading number 1 sire in North America by a wide margin is Chapter 7. And the 5 in here for Marcus Melander, not a record. Just 4 years ago, Aki Svanset did the same thing.
Next we take a look at Go Don Go, the colt that draws post 7 here. Been a little hindered with some bad post draws throughout the season, but he recovered from that breaking issues 2 starts to get the win last week. I think he's really capable.
Yeah, this is another one as you talk about seeing the forest from the trees. A horse that was highly regarded heading into the Hambletonian, and again has had his ups and downs. Certainly no surprises there. He certainly had his ups and downs as far as his 3-year-old campaign is concerned. I don't think you can necessarily take anything away from the horse because last week's effort is pretty clear. Of that 49-3, they add the trotting hobbles, and really it just looked like the Go Dog Go that we had seen prior to those Hambletonian eliminations. And he's another one that I think struggled with some sickness and things like that through his Hambletonian elimination, and again is coming into this race in career best form.
Yeah, the Hambo pace setter, he erupted through the stop sign last week. The third base coach said stop. He said, I'm going for it. He was safe at home, right? Now, Al Lipfeld's the owner. 24 years ago, he romped in this race with Chasing Tail. The reason I mentioned the 24-year gap is because last year's winner was Noel Daly in Zig Zauer, 21 years after winning it with Mr. Muscleman. This is the fastest horse in the field, right? Mamma Mia Volo, remember Carter Pinsky 2 years back won the Futurity, and there were 3 green shoes in the race. He won this race in 2019 himself.
Looking at last one to highlight, Holly, I know you're sitting there, you're just bursting at the seams. We're going to talk about Emoticon Legacy, the colt for Luke Blay.
I'm going to take a bathroom break while he talks about Emoticon Legacy.
Maybe we'll go get a soda.
That's right.
We were told to do,
right.
But that's okay, another time. Post 10, I think it's a tough one here, guys, but this colt, when he's right, we know he's very capable. Holly, you think so today?
Yeah, you know what? I just hope they race him at 4. I really do. I mean, there might be a little bit of a pine chip scenario where there's a couple of seconds and stuff on the card at 3, but he's such an incredible trotter that his dam's a 2-time Breeders' Crown winner. Off a lifetime mark 49-4, the first sub 53-year-old in Canada. 67% lifetime winning percentage here. First sub 50 horse in Canada. Luke Blaze got a long history of great trotters. Forbidden Trade a couple years ago. So Emoticon Legacy, post 10, I think it forces his hand to race from off the pace, and I don't know why I believe this strongly. I think he's going to be a better horse racing and chasing horses.
And I just want to be clear, I do love this colt. I've loved him all season. I just feel like at the times I've really gave him my full heart. It just hasn't worked out for him.
Your heart? Okay.
He broke my heart there a couple times. Yeah, so I'm just saying I'm going to go on for a little bit here today, and I have some I'm loyal to a fault to
Well, let me
two
tell
of the
you-
horses in here anyway. But this colt can absolutely do it.
Because the post 10, that means you have to come off the pace, okay? Everybody has watched the races in the past 5 race cards. One thing you can be sure of today, positive, that the half and 3/4 are going to be fast. The way the race is playing, everybody's going to know that. That's going to benefit him because he's not going to be in any kind of speed duel. He's going to be the one picking up. I would tell you right now that last quarter of the Kentucky Futurity will be the slowest quarter in the race because they're going to be buzzing to the 3/4 pole.
Well, guys, we have to keep moving along.
Okay.
Let's move on to our handicapping numbers. We have the pick 4 today, races 6 through 9. Emily,
Okay.
we'll go ahead and let you start.
Okay, very good. It's a great card, like we talked about. I mean, we've talked about it all day as far as the depth and competitiveness of this card. So, yes, we've got a nice pick 4 sequence sandwiched right in the middle of the card. We're going to kick it off in the 6th race, which is a division of the Tattersalls for 3-year-olds, pacing colts and geldings. And this is another kind of interesting spot. Going to cover my bases, I thought Prince Hal Hanover last week looked as sharp as I have seen him. 47-2, fresh off of a subpar effort, we'll say, in that Little Brown Jug elimination. So I thought he bounced back rather impressively. Similar story for Madden Oaks. The horse had been off 41 days and put together a huge third-place effort, in my opinion. You have to expect him, if you liked him last week at all, you have to like him even more here in this spot as he draws to the inside and is fresh off of a big effort after that layoff. So I'm going to go too deep in here. Are we walking all the way through the ticket, or are we going to start in the first leg?
Do your ticket, and then I'll go. And then
okay,
Paul will
we'll
do his,
be
and
moving
I'll
right along.
finish
I'm going to
Yep.
single here in the 7th race. As you look at the sequence, I always like to try to find a spot where I think I have the best case for a single, and I could make the best case for Captain Albano. Again, as you talk about season, he's been on the board in 7 out of 10, 417,000, and I really think his last few starts have been the best I've seen him. He finished 2nd, but he did all the heavy lifting. Irvin Hanover, simply got his nose up there at the end of the race. But the horse 47 week in and week out. Noel Daly, as Bob has told us, shines on days like today. His group had an incredible day yesterday. I saw them in the Winner's Lounge on multiple occasions. So I'm going to go ahead and single Captain Albano in that 2nd leg. 3rd leg, then I'll go a little deeper. I'm going to go 5, 6, and 10 in here. My top choice in there is Looks Good in Lulu, another one that just absolutely romped in her last out. Now, she has had a bit of time off, had a week or two off here. We haven't seen her since that Kentucky Sire Stakes Championship, but as I said, that was as sharp as I had seen her. Driver Yannick Gingras driving her with a lot of confidence. So I really like her in that spot. I'm going to pair her with Rodeo Drive Deo, who has rattled off 2 consecutive victories, and then throwing in a bit of a price there with Found, who has been racing well for Team Pelling. 3rd leg then is the Kentucky Philly Futurity, as we talked about, and a number of these fillies we've already touched on. I'm going to go 3, 5, and 11. My top choice in there is Delaney Hanover. I like the inside post draw for her, and loved what I saw last week. I do like Champagne Problems here. I give her a puncher's chance. Another filly that has raced extremely well, approaching 700,000 in career earnings. Nancy Tactor is another one that absolutely circles a race like this on her calendar. So I have to believe that she is primed and ready for perfection, and I'll round out my ticket there, like I said, with the 5 Deja Blue for Team Burke and Yannick Gingras, as we talked about.
Holly, go
I'll
ahead.
take a look at the 6th race, 4 and 8 Madden Oaks and Prince Hal Hanover. I loved Prince Hal last week, but a lot of people did. Madden Oaks, I love Braxton Boyd's, the fact that he never got the memo that we have a great driver colony out there, right? He outdrove a lot of guys this year in the North America Cup to be 2nd, and he's maintained that. This guy is not only an up-and-comer, he's like already here, okay? So we used 4 and 8. Second one, we used 4 and 5, Captain Lou, Captain Albano. Note the 4, 5, and 6 in the 7th race, all Captain Treacherouses, right? Captain Treacherous himself set his lifetime mark here, and he won this race. So keep that in mind. At 2 and 3, he was a giant, and he was a runner-up in Horse of the Year back in 2013. In the 8th race, we're going to use the Mr. Rodeo Drive Deo. Now, this is an interesting race because I think the track record here is definitely on the line. This is a special filly, Captain Treacherous again. I think she's got a huge chance. She's almost going to be a single if I have to. I'll spread it out a little bit in the last because I think this 9th race is a wide open race to Philly Futurity, and that's kind of one of the reasons I'm looking at Champagne Problems from the 2nd tier. One of 3 Dan Patch horses on the card, and got the 2nd tier, Jason Bartlett. We didn't use that stat. I can only use that stat as long as he's still in front. He's 700,000 in front of Dexter as we start the day, 700,000. If he maintains that lead in earnings with the UDRS title, First time in 59 years anybody's done that since Stanley Dancer in 1966. It's an amazing shot if he can pull it off. Nancy Tactus had great luck with the tactical landings. Don't anybody throw out champagne problems in the ninth.
Guys, for me, you guys certainly got a little bit more value on your ticket. I went a little big here. It just was hard for me to narrow it down. Okay, Holly, thank you so much. We'll get back to that. We'll see how it shakes out. For me, I really love, I went 1, 4, 8 in here, led by the 1 Fusion. That seems to be getting better each start here for Brett Pelling. Try him in the comment of the Goldenrod. They've been moving him up in class every start. I love the win last start. Draws better here. I think consider him a shot here at 6-1. The 4 Madden Oaks. We know the success he's had. He's plenty capable. Off the stale date, as Emily said, I think he's only going to be sharper here today. Hard to overlook him. And Prince Hal Hanover, love to see the recovery from that jug elimination that just wasn't his day, but he bounced back here for Todd McCarthy and Dr. Moore. Moving on to the second leg, 5-6 here for me. Captain Albano could have been a single for me. One of my favorite horses to watch throughout the racing industry. But Ken Hanover, he's been sharp here too. Interviewed David Miller about Ken Hanover. He said that actually it was Brett Miller who drove him that night. He said that's a fast horse. He's pretty capable of getting it done too. So it was hard to single Captain Albano, but 5-6 going too deep in there for me. Moving on to the third leg, 4 deep in here, Champagne Room. Here Andy McCarthy, Noel Daly. Emily, as you said, they had a big day yesterday. I think this filly in here had the win last time, is very capable as well here. I think from the rails, put her in a big spot. She's kind of a grinding filly, so you're going to have to look for her to be on the scene late. And I think if they get some fractions, you're going to see that here today. The 5 Rodeo Drive Deo. Not a reason not to think that this filly's got a big shot. She's in search of 3 in a row coming off the success of the jug. It's been really, really racing well. Probably the filly to beat in here. The 10, though, looks good in the Lulu. We know the Burks, another one of the Burks entrants in here. This filly's took on and beat the fabulous Mickey and Minnie last week, I think, post 10, but looks good in the Lulu's. Post 10 is probably going to be the only hurdle for her. And Rose, I know she's 20-1 morning line, but I know Ronnie Burke's been high on this filly as well. She's going to be a little bit, she's the one that I had to say, if we're going to get a little bit of a price, don't leave Rose off because she's just as capable as well if it works out. And the last leg for me, led by the 3 Delaney Hanover, I agree here with Emily. This filly looks like she's just getting sharper and sharper for trainer Lucas Wallen. The 5 Deja Blue, as we said, this race could shake out for a filly like this. It's really going to shine here today. In the 8, though, Stash, some cash. Dexter Dunn goes with this one for Domenico Cicciari. I know post 8, but you know what? She's another one that's been getting better start by start. Only a 2-time winner. But don't leave this one out, I think. So I had to go 3, 5, and 8, and I love throwing that 8 in there in the end. So I know, hey, guys, I got a high-price ticket, right? But, what can we do? But moving along here.
Yeah, but we should all be ashamed of ourselves for having gone 20-some-odd minutes without ever saying the word blueprint.
I know.
Not one of us has said the word, including me.
And we will. I'm sure we will. Of course, you just said it. So there we go. We just said it. But moving on, staying on pace here, best bet for me, French Wine, race 2. Now, this is funny, Emily. He was your long shot bet.
15-1 on the morning line. Yeah. I think you'll get a price, too. So it's a great best bet for you, but I love him as well. So jump in and tell us what you like about him.
Yeah, and so, Holly, who's your best bet?
Well, I'm looking at the 4th race. This is so interesting. This race is totally wide open. I didn't want to give a chalk. And I'm looking at a horse that absolutely nobody's going to play. It's winless on the year, number 8, Vogish, right? The fact that everybody in here is vulnerable to me, and nobody's going to cut any pace that's going to scare anybody. No one's going to be scaring anybody on the front end. Brings the outside, brings the closers into the race. I think Andy McCarthy, who had a hot hand yesterday, is going to get the job done with Vogish in the 4th.
Okay, Emily, for you?
I'm going to go to the 5th race. Again, a horse... going to take not a page out of Holly's book. I'm going to go the opposite. It will be a little chalky. I really like Mr. Mouton. 4 Teams Fonset. This is a horse that I've been watching all season long. I think he's crazy talented. Had some issues, obviously. He's raced primarily down here in Kentucky. I just don't think we've seen the best of this horse. And last week, I thought it was just a subpar effort, but I think he stands above this field. If you'd have told me that, he was in the Kentucky Futurity, I would have absolutely gave him some serious consideration. So the fact he's taking a step down into the consolation here, I think he stands above this group. And Dex certainly doesn't hurt anything either, so I'm going to go with Mr. Mouton as my best bet today.
Guys, moving along, we have Noel Daly waiting in the wings. Holly, I know we hate to see you go, but so we're going to move on. We're going to go straight.
Noel who? I'm sorry.
Noel Daly.
Hate to see you go. Love to watch you leave.
Love to watch you leave, but we'll go right into our fraternity.
Here's your Samsonite.
Emily, go ahead. Futurity picks for you.
Futurity picks, great race as we talked about. I'm going to go to Old Faithful, as I guess I should call him. Super chapter for me. As I said last week, horse raced well. Maybe not the best super chapter that we've seen, but of course, Team Melander. Again, this is another one that they've got circled. I think you have to look at the body of work that this horse has done all season long. You certainly cannot discount him. And as I said, I think this race sets up very nicely for him. He's extremely versatile. Love the inside post draw and love the connections as well.
And for the fillies?
Philly Futurity for me, I'm going to go to Delaney Hanover. I think, again, what we saw last week is just indication of the form that she's in, career best form. I talked to Lucas Wallen before the Hambletonian, and similar story. It's a marathon, not a sprint, and she wasn't quite where he wanted her for the Hambletonian. I think he's got her right where he wants her for the Philly Futurity.
I'm going for Motorcon Legacy, Maryland, and Super Chapter. I think the top three colts, 3-year-old trotting colts, are 4 or 5 lengths better than the next group, and they're all in this race here. So I'm going to use those three, and if it comes in those three in order, I'm all over that. Champagne Problems, I'm using, and I'm also going to use in that race Cadena last week, no one expected 11-1, but that could be one of those things where you're rounding into form. 4-time Canadian driving champion James McDonald in a good prime upsetting spot.
Guys, for me, I know it seems a little crazy, but I'm loyal to a fault to Maryland. I've been with him all year, and I think that had the braking issue up there in Canada, but came back here with a decent qualifier, and I think was a nice, consistent start last start there for Dexter Dunn. I know Dexter goes with Super Chapter, no surprise there, but he picks up Yannick Gingras, so we're going to be capable. He's winless in 7 starts this year, but he's winless, but I think today could be his day, so I'm sticking to the trailer here, Maryland. For me, underneath the 4 and the 7, Go Dog Go.
Well, you have some good history here with Post 11, right? Carl had it last year.
Yes.
We had in 2016, Marion Marauder had Post 11, Windsong's Legacy in 2004. Not only did he win the Triple Crown from Post 11, he never raced again.
But you're still you're still taking a Motorcon.
Talk
with
about
the 10.
going out with an exclamation point. That was the ultimate for Windsong's Legacy. Glidemaster only had one more race in his Triple Crown year after winning this one here. But Maryland second tier, it's hard to win a Triple Crown race, so when you haven't won a race for the year, so keep that in mind.
He's overdue.
Yeah, but he's racing great. $52,000 to start without a win. Nothing wrong with that.
And for the fillies, for me, Delaney Hanover. I've loved this filly all the way back in the spring when I caught up with Lucas. I know he's been high on her. I second everything Emily said. I can't say it any better than she did, so we're going to stick to exactly what she said. Delaney Hanover for me, and Maryland. I'm
putting up 3 fingers, by the way. That's 3 world records that will be set here today.
I love to hear it.
Okay? I got 3. Mark Weaver's walking by just as I have my fingers up. I can't believe it. Frank Baldacchino's with him.
Holly, well, we're going to let you get to your fans and let you get to the rest of your day. You're going to be doing what, Winter Circle
long line.
Yeah, of course. I'm going to be sitting upstairs with Jess in a minute.
Okay, well, we know we have an outstanding stuff from you. We hope you got all your stuff in store for the live broadcast.
I'm going to step it up for them.
Thank you so much. Well, we thank you so much, Holly. It's always a pleasure.
You're
one
great
of my
being
dearest
here.
friends,
Great.
and we're so glad to have you. Stay with us. Emily and I will be right back with trainer Noel Daly.
I was hoping Noel would be somewhere in there.
500 days, everybody get 500 down, everybody get 500. Get to the point.
The 2024 Harrisburg mixed sales shattered records with over $31 million in gross sales and a new all-time average of nearly $53,000. Broodmares, racehorses, weanlings, yearlings, and stallion shares were all part of the historic 2-day auction. There's still time to enter the 2025 mixed sale happening November 6th and 7th. Visit theblackbook.com for details.
Want to own a racehorse? Now you can with VIP Internet Stable, the #1 harness racing partnership in the U.S. and the first partnership to earn $3 million in a single season. Own as little as 0.5% and experience 100% of the thrill of your horse coming down the stretch. To learn more, visit VIPstable.com or call us at 877-847-9461. VIP Stable, putting fans into the winner's circle.
The HarnessRacing.com preview show is sponsored by the Standardbred Horse Sales Company. The Harrisburg sale from the Standardbred Horse Sales Company is coming your way November 3rd through the 8th. There's still time to enter the mix sale happening November 6th and 7th. Visit thelittleblackbook.com for all the details. And by Winback Farm. Be sure to check out Winback Farm's 2025 yearling lineup at winbackfarm.com. And by VIP Stable. VIP Stable has been turning horse racing fans into racehorse owners since 1999. And now it's your turn. Join VIP and experience the thrill of harness racing ownership. For more information, visit www.vipstable.com.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the HarnessRacing.com preview show. We're live from the Red Mile in Lexington, Kentucky. I'm Wendy Ross, joined by Emily Gaskin. Now we're joined by trainer Noel Daly. Noel, we're so glad to have you, and thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good to be here.
You had a good day yesterday, right?
We had a pretty good day yesterday. Yeah, it was going really well until the last two, but we can't have everything.
Now, when you sat down, Emily, we both giggled because I said, "How many did you win yesterday? 2 or 3?" You're like, "No, I won 4." But all he said, all he could think about was the ones he didn't win.
I was just going to say, spoken like a true horseman.
Right,
exactly.
Yeah.
I love the accolades, but always wanted to know what's wrong with the other two.
The questions you need to answer, the ones from the owners, are the ones that finish distance. Yeah,
that's right.
Now, Noah, you're looking great. You're busier than ever. How you feeling? You're looking fit as a fiddle.
Yeah. No, feeling good. Got a few too many for my age, but that's a good problem to have.
It is a good problem to have, and let's talk about the sale here. When the hammer dropped on the sale topper Desjardins for $1 million, when that happens to you, what's the feeling that kind of goes through it? Do you get like really excited, or just more like, oh boy, this is going
pressure?
It's really not. It's I didn't think for one moment that she was going to go to $1 million for her, but we'd talked about it. She said she was interested in buying one. Then we gave her a list of 5, and that's the one she picked, which was good for me because a couple of the other ones were, you had to have good broodmare value as well as everything else, and a couple of the other ones were more broodmare types to me than the racehorses. She was the one I wanted, but then we talked about price, and in the afternoon I said, I'm hoping 275 to 300, but she might be 4. And she said, okay, I'll just come and sit behind you and tap you on the shoulder. I said, okay.
Did you guys' arm get tired?
Yeah, it's just, just before we went, in the auction, she said, well, you can go to 5 and then we'll work it from there. I said, okay. So, and then she just kept saying, Let's go. So.
Well, that's great for you guys, and we're hopefully we'll be hearing more about this one next year. This time.
Hope.
Now, we did a little piece with U.S. Trotting. We were actually with trainer Annie Stobie. We did a behind the scenes, what the process that goes into looking at the yearlings and then bidding on them in the ring. Tell us kind of what you liked about Desjardins. You watched the video, right? You leading up to the night, all the weeks, the preparation, and you really liked this one and said, I'm going to have that one.
I've had a good relationship with a guy called Marty Alasapalo, who I met 20 years ago right here. He just approached me, and I was here at the races and said, would you train a yearling for us? They'd bought one back, a trotting filly, and I said, yeah, sure. And I ended up winning a British Crown with that one, so it was a good start. And then I've got a relationship with him, and he's very good at watching the videos, and then he has a great memory, and he also writes everything down, so he's been really beneficial for me as far as picking him out of the videos. And then he, if they're not a certain grade in these videos, he doesn't look, but then he comes and looks at them all, and then you wipe out another. And I'm not some people like to come and look at everyone, not me. So I'm very happy with when we cut it down to our 30 or 40, and then we go and look at them and we go from there.
Well, no, I'm sure Emily agrees. I don't know what you guys are doing, but it's working.
You sound a little bit like me when I talk to my husband about shopping. I think it's going to be this price, but we had to spend a little more, but that's okay.
One more zero, no big deal, right?
Yeah,
now, Noel, let's look back 1 year ago today. Sig Sauer, he gave you that Kentucky Futurity trophy, overcoming post 8. What a handful he was. We followed him all season. We know he was a little bit of a cuckoo bird, but man, he had a ton of go, and when he put his mind to it, he showed up for you on the track.
Yeah, that was about my most pleasing moment ever, probably, because he was the challenge to keep sound. He was a handful to deal with, but he wasn't a nasty horse. But he was. I told you early in the year.
You're right.
I said if he's half as good as he thinks he is, I'm going to be in good shape.
I remember that.
That was an April of that. Yeah, so it definitely follows suit.
He was always full of himself, but he was challenging. When he was good, he was really good. But he just had a bad knee, which he ended up. He won that last start. At the Meadowlands there, and that he actually a couple of days later we x-rayed him, and he had broken that knee. So he was a tough fellow.
Amazing.
He was looking to do that for a while, I think. So he was a challenge to get there. So it was very pleasing when he won the way he did that day.
Yeah, as you said, it takes a good trainer to train a good horse. Great horses sometimes train themselves, but like you said, to the testament to your training ability and to keep the horse on the course throughout the
you got to have the right, you got to have the right horse. It's funny, we're having a good year and whatever, and some really good trainers aren't having great years, and people seem to think that they've forgotten how to train. It's just, you have those years.
That's right.
You don't have the right horse.
It keep that high level, right, consistency.
It is, you can have a shocker in an instant, and.
In and a guy by the name of Andrew McCarthy. You guys have been a heck of a team together.
Yeah, well, Andy came over actually when he waited till he was 21 because I don't think he could have been here and not been able to drink.
Yeah.
So, and then he came and lived in my house and worked for me. You know, he was a marginal groom, but he, I knew his family.
The driving's worked out, so he's
the
okay,
driving's
right?
worked out. Yeah, so it's worked out. It's good for us. Yeah.
So let's talk about this year, Miss Belmar in the Philly Futurity and on a jet plane in the Futurity. But let's go back. We caught up in the spring. Both of these were top contenders coming back here at 3. How do you think the season struck out for them?
They've had their moments. Belmar was another one that she's on a day like she won the elimination of the Hambo Oaks, but she's another one. She's tough to keep sound. Right now, the last 2 weeks I've been super happy with her. Soundness-wise, being out here, able to jog her on the grass and that. It won't shock me if she's very good today. She's the one I think can surprise people a little because I think on her day she's as good as them, and she just hasn't been sound all year.
And of course, when she drew post 2, right? That was a good thing. And then jet plane draws post 3. So the draws, you got over that hurdle, which is a good start.
Yeah, I had 6 in today. I think I had 1 draw out, so she's in a bit of trouble. But the other 5, I can't complain with the draws. I did well.
Now, saying Miss Belmar, you think that she has a good thing, she'll be great in her Futurity here. My apologies, but how do you feel on a jet plane stands up against that? What a tough group of colts.
And again, he was really disappointing too back at the Meadowlands. It was a race for him to win, and I don't know. I had like 3 or 4 that weekend that were no good. There might have been something happening there. I don't know, but he was terrible that day. But so Andy sort of underdrove him a little last week, and he was good again. He's a horse on his, I'm not going in with the same confidence I had with 6 Hour, but he's a horse on his day can go with him. Things would have to work his way. He'll have to decide he's having a good day and get the trip, So there's a few in here like that, It's the green shoe horse. He shows he's as good as anybody when he's having a good day. So he's a tough one to beat. And Super Chapter, they're a good bunch.
Now, one thing we know, all the success you've had with the trotters, especially 3-year-old colts, it's a long season, right? And to start all the way back there in the May and make it all the way here to Kentucky, and of course we have the Breeders' Crown to finish out with, it's really hard to keep these colts. And another question I want to add to that, how do you feel the breed has changed, especially over the 10 or 15 years for the breed, as far as the sustainability of keeping them throughout the season?
Yeah, and there's so many races you can be eligible to now. It's you've got to be a little careful. It's 6 Hour worked out good. I had him ready to qualify there, like he was going to start in the second leg of the Sire Stakes, which is a little early in Jersey. And then Carl came out and qualified in 52, and I thought, well, there's a good reason just to skip it. It worked out great. I started him a month later, and as it turned out, it would have been tough keeping him going the whole way. So you got to, depending on your horse, you got to pick
your spots.
Yeah, some of them can do more than others, but it depends on their soundness, and then some of them go off. Speed catches up with them. I watch what speeds they're going here, and today, even this weekend, they've been so quick. You wonder if those 2-year-olds will come back or not.
Yeah, exactly. We talk about the excitement of world records and the speed and things that they're going, but as you said, it can be a long season, so it always makes things interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so much now. You can be the 2-year-olds. You can be starting early, and November there's still a couple of $400,000 races at the Meadowlands. You sort of got to pick which end you want to be in.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Noel, moving on, of course, we talked about the Futurities, but we couldn't leave out my favorite guy, and I know Emily's a fan of him here today, Captain Albano, and today in the 7th race, the Al-Raj Pace, racing so tough with 4 wins this season. How do you feel he is coming into today?
Yeah, no, he's a pleasure to have. He's got a great character, the horse. It was funny. Sonia looked after the pair of them, him and 6 Hour,
That's right.
last year, and one was very amiable, and he could do, you do whatever you like, and the other one was a pain in the butt. So
I think that's my kids. I have my oldest is very agreeable. My youngest is a loose cannon. So
well, that's how they were. And but he's a pleasure to be around.
No Lasix today. A concern?
Yeah. I don't really think so. I sort of, we planned on retiring them at the end of 3 there, and I just put him on for those last couple of starts. He's not one that I've ever caught bleeding, so and even the ones that do, I think you can get away with it one start. They just, I wouldn't do it week in, week out. But I think you'll be all right. We'll find out when the pressure's on,
Well, I know that you certainly are setting up for a good day, and we're so glad to have you with us, and we wish you the best of luck today, Emily.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time. Busy day, we know, and you probably still got to answer some phone calls about those few yesterday, so we'll get back to it.
Yeah. No, thank you so much. Wishing him the best of luck. Stay with us. Emily and I will be right back.
Farm of Ontario is home to outstanding sires, including three-time millionaire pacer tattoo artist who is new in 2025, the last great son of the legendary Sub Beach Somewhere and multiple stakes champion Beachglass, Meadowlands Pace and Ontario Sire Stakes champion Lawless Shadow, and the richest pacing stallion in all of harness racing history, the great Hall of Famer Mick Wicked. Also standing at Winbank Farm, Archangel, Better Than Cheddar, Betting Line, My MVP, and Trixton. For more information, visit winbackfarm.com.
The Standardbred Transition Alliance was created in 2019 to inspect, accredit, and award grants to approved organizations that acquire, rehabilitate, train, and rehome standardbred horses. Since 2020, the STA has issued over $725,000 to accredited programs. Today, STA-accredited aftercare organizations are providing placement opportunities and safety net services to thousands of standardbreds and their adopters. Want to help? Visit standardbredtransition.org to donate today.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Red Mile in Lexington, Kentucky. Wendy Ross, joined by Emily Gaskin. They just played the Star Spangled Banner. Things are getting underway here, Emily.
They are, and to make it official, we've got the UK Alumni Band out. So feeling very Kentucky here today, and so we are very excited and excited for a big day of racing.
Emily, I was lucky enough to have a chat with the now Hall of Fame inductee, David Reed, yesterday. We talked about the sale, the breed, and how blessed he is to have the career and the people that he's been able to work with along the way. Simply one of the best. Take a look now as I sat down with David Reed. It's always nice to be able to catch up. Now, I know Lexington, it's a busy week for you. How's it going this week?
Yeah, it's been busy. It's been good. It's been an active month, really, in fairness. Happy to be over with and move on.
Let's just start by saying congratulations, getting inducted, already voted into the Hall of Fame for the class next year. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's a great honor. It's something that you're I don't want to say it's your goal and whatever, but if you achieve that and you see the people who are in there, and it's the pinnacle of the sport, and it's a great honor, and I'm humbled to be there, and it probably hasn't really sunk in yet, so.
When we think about your late friend and your partner, Jeffrey Stein, going back to 1989, you guys first kind of kicked things off with Preferred Equine, and you've worked your way into all facets, it seems, of the sales company. Started there with 140 horses to start back that year. What a dream you guys must have had, and I know you're probably so proud of where it's gone.
Oh, yeah. He'd be proud, too, and as part of the Hall of Fame, too, joining him a little bit, and it was a great partnership. You could almost say opposites attract because, we were different personalities in a lot of ways and different talents and things like that, but I think that's what made us such a great partnership. And it was a partnership until he died in 2012, unfortunately, suddenly. But we always have Jeff in our memory, and it's been a great ride. And then the last 12 years, you just can't hit the gas pedal and you just go, you know what I'm saying? And I never took a new partner on, and, he was kind of like an ideal partner, and you probably can't replace him.
Now, the process of getting the yearlings here to get here in the fall, to be ready for the sales, it's a really long process. It starts very early on, even the prior year.
It does. The sale just concluded last night, and, everyone will take a deep breath, but, by the time you get the Harrisburg sale, people are already starting to think about next year. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be a lot of trade. Listen, we just had a $61 million sale last night. Harrisburg's going to have their sale. London's going to have their sale. Ohio had their $8 million sale. Indiana's going to have their sale. So obviously, a lot of the financial transactions and the transaction of the horses, buying and selling, happen this time of year. So you really have to be on your game. Economics come into play as well, with budgeting and planning.
And just to talk about the sale this year, what are our thoughts overall?
You know what? It was good. Ended up being the fourth highest gross of the history of the sale. Average was down 5%. But at the end of the day, if you look at the top 11 buyers, they bought 239 horses last year. They bought 236 this year. They spent $21 million last year, $17 million this year. So, if you look at the top end of the market where the buyers are, there's a little bit of readjustment there. And, people were a little critical of the catalog. We had 80 Walners. They ended up still having the highest average. They averaged 131,000. Pacers, held their own as well. So, You know, the first, second, and the third day were all, within par. Fourth day dropped off a little bit. Don't really know why. We'll assess that. I don't think the horses dropped off that much, but the market did that day. And then we rebounded last night for sure.
Now, one thing when you talk about the buyers, they've changed recently. A lot of those bigger owners have gotten out. That one thing we can't stop is time, and
Yep.
they've moved on, and they're not in the business now. How do you feel? As you said, we still have the people buying, but we've lost those top buyers. Do you think that has affected the sale overall with the trickle down effect?
We haven't really lost them. It's just a readjustment. You know what I'm saying? So like it's, year to year, people react on the years they're having. From a buyer point of view, you'd always want to see new people come into the marketplace, but we can't control that. It's just, there's always going to be a readjustment period.
Now let's talk about the breed overall, how it's progressed so much over the years, right? That now the horses, they feel like, how do you feel with the progression of the breed? Are they still able to sustain the long seasons that we asked them to go all the way from April to the end of October?
I actually think the breed has actually gotten better. I don't see him becoming more refined. So I think the breeders have done a good job that way. If you want to look at that, you probably have to look at other factors. The racing style has changed, equipment has changed, drivers' posture in the bike has changed. I would actually like to see racetracks try to dig up the surfaces a little bit and slow them down. I don't think necessarily fast is better.
Now, when we think about the breed, how we go back 10, 15 years, we had that old foundation bred that we really saw in the captains, the some beaches. But now I feel like we're seeing more of the leaner, smaller, more sprinty style horses. How do you feel that has changed throughout as well?
I would probably not agree that they've become refined because, you take the Poppy Robs, or you take the Cattle Washes, you take the Sun Beach Somewheres, you take the Stay Hungries. They're not really refined. I don't see that changing that much myself personally. Trotters, Captain Corey's having success this year, and obviously he's an outcross of everybody. And you get, the trotters actually have become more diverse. I mean, you have a lot more European blood now than you had 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
Dave, one more thing before we let you go. Thinking back of your dear friend Jeff Stein, and I know you lost him in 2012, but it's looking back now, everything that's been accomplished, I think he's been with you every step of the way. And I think if he could say one thing for you, as you go into the Hall of Fame next year, he would say, "I'm proud of you, my friend."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah.
Very good.
There's nothing, he'd be proud and...
I'm proud of what you guys have accomplished together,
he's a big
right?
part of it. Listen,
yeah, for sure.
When I first met him, I was at drinking cheap wine, never ate fish, didn't really travel that much, you know what I'm saying? And I know it sounds, listen, I was born and raised in the country on a dairy farm, and, I meet Jeff Stein, so you got a country guy from a small school that graduated with 39 students to a Jewish guy from Long Island who had a totally different background. Myself very lucky that we were able to have a relationship together, that we never had a bad day. We left the families out of it. We were very friendly to each other's family, but business was business and family was family.
I just want to say thank you so much for your time. Everything you do for the industry and all the success for Preferred Equine has really set the standard for everything that has to do with the breeding side and more for our standardbred industry. And I just want to say once again, congratulations on the Hall of Fame. It's so well deserved, and no one deserves it more.
Well, listen, there's probably other people who deserve to be in there, you know what I'm saying? And but you can't control that.
Yep.
And I'm not going to turn it down. I've been lucky all my life, lucky with partnerships, lucky with horses, lucky with family, lucky with my health. It's so a lot of blessings and a lot to be thankful for. And I appreciate you guys giving me the time. And I'm sure we'll see you guys down the road.
Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome back. We hope you enjoyed that piece on David Reed. Emily, he knows so much knowledge and so much input for our sport.
Yeah, we've talked about greatness all day, and Dave Reed is certainly synonymous with greatness. So much knowledge, so much passion, and I think maybe my most favorite part about him is he's probably one of the busiest guys, but he always makes time to talk and ask how you're doing and things like that. So not only is he great at what he does, he's also a great person as well.
And even yesterday, he had to catch a 2:30 plane, but he found time to us to sit down there back in the paddock there, so we were so glad to have him. And we're going to re-release that piece tomorrow on all of our U.S. trotting platforms. If anyone missed it, you can stay tuned. You can catch up with it tomorrow. Now, Emily, we have to wrap things up, as we know you have a lot of things going on here today. But before we go, we had some Twitter polls, as we usually do, or X, Twitter, whatever. And we're going to take
it's still Twitter to me. I feel so archaic when I say it, but I guess it will always be Twitter to me.
And the team's going to put the polls up. These are the polls we ran of who we think is going to win the Kentucky Futurity for the Colts. Oh, we'll start with the Philly Futurity poll. It looks like Delaney Hanover. Oh, they must have been listening to us.
I was going to say, I thought I was digging one out of there because I thought, Deja Blue, a few of these others might be heavily favored. Obviously, talking about polls and still plenty of time come post time from the wagering windows. But I thought I was maybe stretching, but glad to see we've got some support on our side going with Delaney Hanover on top.
I think that they know the Phillies is getting sharp as well. So we're of course drawing post 3. Moving on to the Colts, we took a look at for the Futurity poll. No surprise there, but not a big favorite. Super Chapter is the favorite with 38%.
Yeah, as we talked about today, Wendy, a very deep group and no runaway favorite there. Pretty evenly spread, so really nice, even right there in the middle. Super Chapter taking the slight edge with 38%. But as we talked about, given his body of work this season, I think he is the most formidable favorite heading into the Futurity.
My pick of Maryland is falling into the other category.
If we would have been sitting here, if you told me that sitting here at this time last year, I would not have believed you based off what we saw. And take nothing away from Maryland this year. He just was so impressive last year. I think reiterating a little bit what Noel said, that the speed and the things that we see from these horses as 2-year-olds, it's sometimes hard to come back and repeat at 3.
It is, and we hope you've enjoyed our show, and we hope you enjoy your Kentucky Futurity Day. Emily, we thank you as always. We know you're busy, and tell us, you guys have a lot going on here today.
We do. It's a little bittersweet, days like today because you work all year for a day like today. So, yes, it's finally here. We are very excited to showcase the Kentucky Futurity alongside the Kentucky Philly Futurity. It's part of the 150th season at the Red Mile. Lots to be excited about today, Wendy. Of course, the racing action speaks of itself that we've talked about all day, but lots of things to do off the track as well. We've got Tyler Robinson, a local artist. He works out at Churchill working with the Kentucky Derby. He is going to be doing a live art display. We're going to be doing a silent auction, so you can go over there, check out what he's working on. You can also bid to purchase it, and all proceeds are going to benefit the Standardbred Transition Alliance. So it's a great opportunity, and it's really cool to see the work that he does and does it here live. We've got just a little bit of everything, food trucks, and we've got a hat company. Big news recently, too. We've got Jasper Johnson, part of the UK men's basketball program, actually the #1 recruit heading into the season, will be here today. He's going to be signing autographs from 2 to 2:30. He's going to be hanging out with us in the clubhouse and shaking some hands and signing autographs, and then he's also going to present the Kentucky Futurity Trophy as well. So lots of excitement both on and off the track today.
There is, and if you can't be here on the track, but we hope if you are close, you can make your way down here. It's a beautiful day here in Lexington, Kentucky, but if you can't be on track, we hope you enjoy the broadcast led by Jess Godden, John Rallis, Jenna Auden, and the one and only, you saw him earlier, Bob Hayden. You know he's got a lot of information coming your way, so make sure to tune in or come out. And either way, we'll be back with you for our Breeders' Crown show, joined by John Rallis. So we'll be seeing you just a few weeks from now as we highlight the Breeders' Crown. Emily, thank you again, and until then, enjoy your day for the Kentucky Futurity.